Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. I'm Anna and in this video I am going to show you the Janome 5060 QDC. I'm going to talk you through its features and functions, show you what comes in the box, sew some bits to show you its capabilities, and then we'll talk about warranty and support. Now we've separated those out into chapters, so if there's one specific section that you're interested in, feel free to just jump straight ahead to that. So the 5060 QDC is very simple to use. It's great for beginners, great for experienced sewers. It's a quilting edition, the QDC, the Q means quilting. What that means is it comes with a couple more decorative stitch options, but it also has extra feet package. Now don't let that put you off if you're not a quilter, because those feet are really useful for other things as well, and I'll talk you through that a bit later on. The machine has 60 different stitch options and they are all listed on the front here for you and easily selected with these up and down arrows and the LCD screen. It does a one-step buttonhole and there's lots of different types depending on the fabric that you're using. It has a start-stop button and speed control. It does also come with a foot pedal, so it's up to you which you'd rather use. It's got a handy automatic thread cutter, needle up, needle down, and a locking stitch. You've got your tension dial here, and it also has a drop-in bobbin system. So it's easy to load, you can see when it's running out, and it has the easy set, so there's no need to draw the bobbin thread up. The maximum stitch width on this machine is 7mm, and you can drop the feed dogs to do any free motion or darning foot. It also has this dial up here which gives you the ability to alter the pressure that's on the presser foot. So if you are sewing something quite fine or quite delicate, you can slacken that pressure off and then it will feed through the machine much easier. It also has a free arm, so you can just pop this box off and there's your free arm. This is an accessory tray which has storage in the front there for all the different presser feet that it comes with, and they are the standard foot, one for zips or piping, blind hem, overcasting, your one-step buttonhole. Now these are feet for decorative stitches and satin stitches. One is closed, one is open. 1/4-inch foot, free motion foot, and the walking foot. It also comes with a range of accessories, the foot control, power lead, and an instruction manual. It also has an extension table, so you just pop the accessory tray off and then that sits on there, which gives you a nice large area to work with. It also comes with a hard cover. Now that's super useful for storing the machine away. It's also great for protecting the machine while transporting it. The machine's 6.4 kilos, so it's ideal as a second machine to take to classes, school, college, anything like that. So let's get the machine threaded and see what it's capable of. It's really simple to thread. Just pop your spool on and then your cap, and you've got different sizes of these caps depending on the size of the spool. And then everything is numbered. So the solid line is all for the needle, the dotted line is for the bobbin. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is the guide above the needle. And then the needle threader, you just pull that down, lay the thread in, draw it back, and there's the loop and the needle's threaded. And then for the bobbin, just pop the cover off, drop it in with the tail of thread to the left. I usually keep my finger on it so you're threading under some tension, under that little lip there, and then in and around the easy set. As I say, with that, you don't need to draw up the bobbin thread. You can just start sewing now, or you can draw the bobbin thread up if you want to. When you switch the machine on, it will always start on stitch 0, which is your standard straight stitch. So we'll just show what that stitches out like. I'm going to use the start-stop button, and I've got the speed on the slowest setting at the moment. So we'll secure that. And as you see, slow is really quite slow, so I'll move it up to midway. And then top speed. And you can slow that down by keeping your finger on the start-stop button until you want to stop. And then secure your stitches And then to cut the threads and lift the needle, you press the scissor cut button. That's the automatic thread cutter mechanism, cutting the threads. And then there you can see you've got a nice straight stitch, top and bottom. We'll sew out a zigzag stitch, which is either number 6 or number 7, depending on whether you want the needle in the middle position or the right position. So we'll just move that up for number 6. Now you can see I'm just steering the fabric from the front. I'm not needing to feed it through or anything, and that's due to the feed system on this machine. It really does give great fabric control. And then that's your standard zigzag. Obviously you can change the width and the length of that if you want to, depending on your project. Moving on to the one-step buttonhole. I've popped the buttonhole foot on there and brought the sensor down. There's a few different options depending on the fabric that you're using. I'm just going to go for a standard one. So I'll go up to number 16, and then the little symbol there reminds you to bring your sensor down and use foot R. So you just pop your fabric in. Let's go down here. Drop the presser foot. Now always keep the speed about midway for a buttonhole, and off you go. And then cut your threads, and that's it done. Your nice neat buttonhole, again top and bottom. There are a few decorative stitch options which are really nice for embellishment, quilting, things like that. So I've popped the open toe fancy foot on just so we can see the stitch as it's going. Let's try the wavy line there a minute. See what that looks like. So I'm going to go up to 31, yep, and then off we go. Let's go a bit faster. And that's a nice wavy line effect. And let's try one more. Oh, I can't decide. Let's go to the Greek kind of key. See what that looks like. Oops. 56. Pop that under. Now you'll see there that when I came to the end, I pressed the locking stitch button. Now that has two functions. So with the decorative stitches, it's a pattern end. So when you're nearing the end of your sewing, you can press this one. It will finish a whole pattern of the stitch before it stops sewing, and then it will just sew 3 stitches on the spot to secure it. And there you can see, that's a nice real decorative stitch. That's the top. And again, neat on the bottom. Let's take a look at the 1/4 inch foot. This one has a guide on the edge, and when you're piecing your patchwork, you want to be lining the fabric up to the edge of that guide, and then where the needle sews is where it then gives you your 1/4 inch. Now I'm still on the decorative stitch, so let's go back to stitch number 1. And then you can see that lines it up with the foot, and then just drop your presser foot. Let's just line those up. Oh. And you can see that gives you a nice consistent 1/4 inch along the edge there. And this foot's also really useful for any top stitching to keep you at a regular distance from the edge of the fabric. Now I want to talk to you about the walking foot. I've popped it on the machine, and traditionally these feet are predominantly used for quilting, and that is because they have teeth on the underside that interlock with the feed dogs. And the idea is that when you have your layers, the bottom fabric and the top fabric are being fed through consistently, so it reduces the movement within the quilt. It's also really useful for sewing stretchy fabric, so jersey fabric, and anything that's quite tricky, which I'll show you in a minute. But I've got some quilt layers here. Now there's an extra foot lift because those teeth do come down slightly, so you can fit bulky items, you know, your layers underneath. And I'll just drop that down. I'm going to do a standard straight stitch. And you can see that those teeth are clamping down on the fabric and feeding it through, like I say, so there's no shift in the fabric. And then you've got a nice neat straight stitch there and on the other side. The opening of the foot is nice and wide, so you don't have to stick to a straight stitch with it. You can do one of the decorative stitches. Let's try number 53. So that's quite nice for stitching in the ditch. And again, I've used the locking stitch to finish the pattern off completely and secure the stitch at the end. And there you go, that's a nice, cute little stitch. And it's the same top and bottom. When it comes to the jersey fabric, I've got this quite stretchy, curly fabric here. You want to choose the right stitch for this type of fabric, which is the lightning stitch, number 5. So I'll go back to number 5, and probably going to do a slightly longer stitch length, which will give better results. Whoops, wrong way. Go there and pop the speed down to medium. And as I say, because it's got the teeth that interlock, it helps to keep the fabric under control under the foot, so we're not overstretching it if we're pulling or pushing, and then you don't get that wavy line. And again, that's just securing the end of that stitch. Cut it off. And then, as you can see, there's not a lot of wave there at all. It's sitting nice and flat. You can still stretch the material with the stitch. And if I can open it up, the joint is nice and strong and flexible. For free motion, I've popped the free motion foot on, dropped the feed dogs, and I like to use extension table because it just gives you a bit more room for your hands. We just need the standard straight stitch. Whoops. So we'll go back to 0, 0. Pop the work under. Let's draw the bobbin thread up. And there you go, that's your free motion. So free motion quilting, obviously free motion embroidery, textile art and things like that, and it's nice and neat on the bottom with a good tension. Lastly, in terms of the layers that it can cope with, I have this denim here, so I've popped a denim needle on We'll stay on the standard straight stitch and then increase the stitch length because it's quite dense. So at the moment that's 2 layers. And that's handled that well. Got a nice neat stitch top and bottom, and the seam is nice and strong. So I'll double that over to 4 layers. Now you can hear the machine's working slightly harder to penetrate through the density of the layers, but nevertheless, it's still handled it really well. And nice, that's the line of that one there. And again, it's nice and strong on the seam there. A good job. I hope that gives you an insight into the capabilities of the Janome 5060 QDC. It also comes with a 2-year warranty, and there is a card in the box which explains that to you. You can extend it for 5 years and the details are in there. And don't forget, we're here as well for any advice or support that you may need. So just pick up the phone, drop us an email or go on live chat. Delivery is free, so what are you waiting for? Thanks for watching.